Like,
there is.
bro, there's so much stuff that I want to do and like watch and catch up on.
And lack of time.
And it's like every single time I want to, something new comes out and like grabs your attention. That's why I was saying, like, even in terms of Power Rangers, there's so many animes now that are feeding off of the whole Power Ranger Sentai.
Go-Go Loser Ranger.
Yeah, Go-Go Loser Ranger, where basically the Power Rangers are like the boy, or like
it's the they're
it's like the boys. They're like the seven, or there's like Love. Oh, my wife and I watched it. It was
Oh, I know
Love,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Love in something, where basically the girl is like the daughter of the evil warlord that's trying to take over the planet.
Yeah.
And then the Power Rangers are there, and the Red Ranger falls in love with her. So they're like dating, but they always have to fake it when they go to battle, and they battle like every week. So they like act like they're gonna fight, and then they like go away on a mountain real quick, and they start like, kissing, or they're just like, oh, I love your time here, I bought you this, and they like give each other gifts. There's also the villain's day off, where he's basically the villain, and the Power Rangers are fighting him, but he loves his day off. He's like, I refuse to do anything on my day off. I'm going to the zoo, and I don't care who sees me, I'm not doing jack. So like the Red Ranger catches him, and he's like, yo, like, what are you doing at the zoo? He's like, I'm trying to look at pandas, leave me alone.
Yeah.
and then the last one is an isekai. It's like the Red Ranger gets isekai to a fantasy world, and he's got his morpher. I'm like, yo, this is so funny how Power Rangers influences so many things,
Yeah. Well, it's a huge part of Japanese culture, because Super Sentai, like, so for as many seasons of Power Rangers as we have over here, they have more than triple that over there. Like, there's, I think right now, there are over 50 seasons of Super Sentai.
That's insane.
With each season being completely, that was why Power Rangers kind of like, when you started getting like a new Power Ranger season, like after each whatever one that came before, they stopped having the same cast. It's because that's what Japan has always done. Each, like, so the season that Mighty Morphin is based on, Kyoryu Sentai Zero Ranger, the next season after that is called I think it's called Gosei Sentai Dai Ranger or something along those lines. That season has fuck all to do with Zero. Like, there's no crossover. There is no, oh, hey, you got to watch this season so you understand what. No, it's like, no, completely different story, completely different characters, completely different powers. That's why Power Rangers started doing that. But like in Japan, that shit's been going on since I think Go Ranger, which was the first Super Sentai, was like in the 70s. I think like the late 60s, early 70s. And that's just been going like every year ever since then.
Wow.
So like when they do stuff like when you start seeing that stuff in anime, it's because that shit's like a huge, like, it's basically people who over there grew up with Super Sentai, and like that, like, we use the Power Ranger part of it just because that's what's familiar to us, but to them, like, for instance, Go-Go Loser Ranger, not even called Go-Go Loser Ranger in Japan. It's called like Sentai Daishikaku. Like in most of the references, like in Go-Go Loser Ranger, the reason why all the fights are on Sunday, because that's when Super Sentai comes on over there every week. It's always every Sunday you get an episode of Super Sentai, episode of Kamen Rider back to back. They call it like the superhero, I think, they call it superhero time over in Japan. Like, but when it happens, it's like, okay, boom, it's time for, and they make a huge deal out of it. It's like a huge deal. But like, for us as Power Rangers, like it's equally as important to a lot of us because we all grew up with it on some level or another. But I think the difference was just that we didn't, in America, it wasn't appreciated on the same level. It didn't become like, it's a pop culture. It's a huge part of pop culture.
It is,
but it's a niche part of pop culture.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like something that, like, if you went to Japan, they have fucking concerts
of
regular
Power Rangers.
Yeah, like what they'll do is every year if you live in Japan, they'll have a show And it'll just be the people who perform like the theme songs, like the intros, the outros, the suit actors, and people coming out and performing like a whole ass concert.
Wow.
And they do it every year. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's on a whole other level over there than what we have over here.
Wow.
It's like the difference between like it's not exactly the same, but it's almost a difference between how some people view subs versus dubs.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Like Power Rangers is that dub shit, or at least the way dubs used to be, in my opinion. But yeah, Power Rangers in and of itself is to me kind of on the rise, just because like a lot of people who grew up with it are now in a position to actually do something with it now, as opposed to people trying to pretend they didn't watch it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I almost feel like I'm in the mix of both, because like I pretended I didn't watch it. But,
I did too,
like,
for a little bit.
Yeah, and like especially when I hit middle school and everything, because that's the sin. You watch anime, you watch like any of that stuff from the comic books, and you got leprosy and everything, so you're not supposed to talk about it.
It was okay until it was when the Green Ranger stuff started. I felt that was when like people stopped like being as
I was,
because that kind of changed it, like because a lot of my friends who made fun of me for watching it, they started coming like when the Green Ranger saga happened, they were coming over to my house because they knew I would get up early and watch it before I went to school. So they would come to my house and chill at my place. We would watch it and then we would walk to school afterwards. So yeah, that was yeah, it was one of those things that once the whole Tommy thing kicked off, I think more people were more open to it.
Yeah.
But it didn't help that they came out with other shows, not Power Rangers related, that were kind of ass.
I was gonna say, like, you mentioned Superhuman Cyber Squad. I had the toys featuring, was it Matthew Lawrence? No.
No, Matthew. I think it was Matthew Lawrence.
Was it Matthew Lawrence?
Whichever was the youngest one. It wasn't Joey. I know that much.
Nah. Okay, so then the other shows was whack. That was whack. I thought Big Bad Beetle Borgs,
which is so sad because I was actually watching the show that it's based on. It's called Kabuto B Fighter.
Kabuto B Fighter.
Yeah, because it's so basically. Without going too deep down a rabbit hole, you remember VR Troopers?
I was just going to say that too.
So that's a part of the Metal Hero series.
Yeah.
Kabuto B Fighter is one of the later Metal Hero shows. So like technically there's a little bit of crossover there. Part of the same franchise. Kabuto B Fighter, they were not children. There was no haunted house. There was no vampire, whatever the fuck dude was. As a matter of fact, those two shows could not be more unlike each other if they tried. It was like they literally just took the suits. They did not take the story. They did not take the plot. Nothing. It was just that was the moment that they did the same thing. VR Troopers. VR Troopers is 3 different Metal Hero shows merged together to make one show. Those the 3 main characters are from 3 completely different seasons of Metal Hero.
Dang.
Dang. Also why that show didn't last that long. Because they ran out of stuff to use. But that was almost Tommy's show. Tommy was actually supposed to be his show.
So he's supposed to get his own show?
Yeah, that was why when he left as the Green Ranger, his exit, he was supposed to go to VR Troopers and they were going to make VR Troopers and Power Rangers more of a like connected thing. But then Tommy was so popular that they said, well, no, we're just going to bring him back.
Dang.
We'll bring him back later.
Wow.
And we'll just make him somebody else. Which I mean is probably for the best because I don't think that show would have been better with Tommy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but that is I have a deep well of random bullshit Power Rangers knowledge.
Now you know because I got a lot of this between you and this guy atop the fourth wall. Another guy I follow. I like his stuff a lot, and I just put it on the background at work as I was working and just marathoned it as far as that. I think the worst thing I've seen to this day. Do any of you guys remember and again, just sort of dating myself, they had the live action Ninja Turtles show.
Yep, Next Mutation.
Next Mutation.
No, I just remember the live action movies.
No, the movies were
No.
the first movie was amazing. I still think that's one of my
It was good.
movies. I still love that movie. Second movie, okay, and third movie, I gotta go back.
It's weird because they actually were like the third movie. I didn't like it, but it was actually based on something from the old Mirage. If like they actually did that in the old Mirage comics, but it just they didn't do it well.
Yeah, and I gotta circle back to it, but like, and they have Vanilla Ice in the second one, so all right, whatever.
Yeah,
but they had they had this these costumes for this live action Ninja Turtles was kind of horrifying. Bad. Yeah, and so no more Shredder.
No,
Shredder's gone. It was this villain called like Dragon Master or
Dragon Master. Yeah, it was Dragon Master.
What's it called? It's called
Next Mutation.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
And Austin, it literally lasted, I think, one season.
It was one season. 24, 26 episodes.
And I watched that every Friday when I got home from school because I think I had nothing else to watch. At that point. And so then they crossed over with Power Rangers in space. And I'll never forget this line. I think that the turtles like you don't go in, Ernie. Maybe
I know.
This girl, like the Pink Ranger, Yellow Ranger, one of them goes, "Oh, guys, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles," and it was just like, wait, what? So they existed in this universe the whole time, where you got aliens invading, and the turtles are chilling, in the sewers the whole time, fighting the Foot. Wow, but again, it was ridiculous. And then the turtles took over. They got mind controlled and took over a ship, like a spaceship. It's like, what is going on?
That was when they had introduced. That was the show that introduced Venus de Milo to the chagrin of so many people.
Yeah, turtle. Yeah.
She was the. She was the. Technically, she was the first female Ninja Turtle, and it was hard for people to even remember sometimes because her color was cyan, and
like a light blue.
Yeah, it was a light blue, and if Leonardo was not in the shot, it was very easy to think that if you didn't if you just turned on the show and didn't know what was going on, you'd be like, why does Leonardo sound like a chick? Because it would be like they had to make Leonardo's bandana like a darker blue just so that they would be able to not, be as similar. But and they also gave her boobs. She had she had boobs on her shell, which was weird. Yeah. Oh, and none of the turtles are brothers.
No.
So that was a weird thing they did that made no sense to me. I was like, well, because basically what they wanted to do is she was there, and I actually remember this was actually spoken out loud by the people who worked on the show. She was there specifically to be a love interest, so the turtles would fight over her.
Oh,
really?
So, yeah, she was
random. It wasn't. Yeah. Maybe I'm misremembering or just making this up in my head. Wasn't Splinter Jewish? Why do I feel like Splinter was Jewish?
He had a weird accent. I don't remember. I don't remember the accent, but it was not. It sounded off. It sounded off a little bit. It was not I honestly, if you go back and watch the show, I've gone back and watched it somewhat recently because I actually went back and watched it so I could do my due diligence when I did a video about Venus de Milo.
Okay.
And it just a lot of the voices come off kind of comical.
Yeah.
But it was bad. It was not a good show. It's not a good show at all.
And of course I'm thinking if and again, maybe I'm misremembering, they didn't use any of their weapons.
Not really.
Maybe Donatello, maybe.
Well, yeah, okay, so it was the same rules that were applied to Ninja Turtles 2 and 3.
Okay.
Because moms got really mad when the first Ninja Turtles movie came out and the turtles were using their weapons on the Foot Clan. They were like, oh, it's so violent. Oh my God, think about the children. And so when that was why, if you go back and watch Ninja Turtles 2, you'll notice the only people who actively use their weapons in that movie on anyone is Donatello. It's because his is a stick. It's not a
is
sword or a side. Like even Michelangelo doesn't really use his weapons very. Like he actually pulls out some sausages and uses that instead. That's why that they skewed that direction.
In the opening scene.
Yeah. That's
because
why.
I never
he
saw.
never even used them. He would hold the katanas or like the not tonfas. What are they called? Whatever they're called. He would hold them. And then he would go like this and then kick, like punch or whatever.
He used them as a defensive. He used them defensively to like keep people away from him. He never actually hit anyone with him. And it was because you go back and look it up. I actually remember when this was happening. There were a bunch of parent groups who came out when the first movie came out, and they and they raised 9 kinds of hell about the first, because in the first movie, everybody was catching it. Yeah, everybody was catching them swords of them size. But that was why they dumbed it down, because the studios were facing pressure from and they knew, well, if the moms groups boycott this movie, then the movie's dead, because this movie's for kids, and adults aren't going to go see this movie unless they're taking their kids to go see it. So that was why that shifted. You can apply the same thing to Wolverine in the X-Men animated series. He only uses claws on robots. He never used them on like people that were like regular people. Like it was very rare you saw him use his claws on a person on any level. So
you know what's crazy, because like I mean, one of my, obviously with this recent controversy about DeMaio and everything, just it was refreshing to watch X-Men 97 and that scene where Wolverine and Nightcrawler are fighting the Sentinels. Amazing choreography. But it's refreshing to see Wolverine actually stab someone.
Like, honestly, even that is only because at that moment those people are robots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
That's the only reason that it flies.
They're Sentinels. Yeah.
The I forget the name of it, but the governing body that determines what is okay to show on television, everything changes. It's why, like, if you ever watch the Avengers movies, why are the Avengers always fighting robots, aliens, weird monsters that don't look anything at all human? It's because you can do whatever you want to an alien or a robot. You can rip their heads off. You can cut them in half. You can rip their arms off and beat them over the head with it. All things that have happened in Avengers movies. But if it's a person, you go rated R. It's rated R, and that's it. There's no negotiating. There's no, hey, look, actually, can we do it this way? It's the whole reason why Quentin Tarantino had to make that whole scene in Kill Bill Volume 1 black and white, because that actually dictated whether or not that movie went from rated R to an NC-17.
Wow.
So that's just called America being America when it comes to violence. But yeah, that's why all the movies you love, why they have been done the way they have been done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, blame Indiana Jones too. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is responsible for a lot of the reason why the PG-13 rating exists.
Was that all?
Ripping the heart out. Yeah, that's the. If I remember correctly, Indiana Jones is the reason PG-13 exists.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Change cinema going forever.
I had no idea. Wow. I just remember like, okay, when I was young, let's say for video games, you're either playing two things. The 90s was huge. Arcades were still huge. Fighting games are still were top tier. So you're either playing Mortal Kombat or Ninja Turtles. Or excuse me, Street Fighter, pardon me.
Street Fighter, yeah.
Yeah. So you're either one of those two camps. And so I just remember specifically, so I was Street Fighter, my older cousin was Mortal Kombat all day. But I remember when the movie came out, Mortal Kombat, and who was, and I don't want to get political, but I'm trying to remember, who was it that, was the Moms of America almost the same difference that
probably
and that, and also NWA and everything, as far as the ratings for that ended up being the ASRB system.
Yeah,
I'm misremembering parts of it, but
it was why the Nintendo version, the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat, there was no blood.
And Sega had blood.
Well, you had
Sega had blood.
Night Trap. I think was it Night Trap?
Night Trap on Sega CD. Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of started it. Between that and
Mhm.
combat, they kind of like pioneered why we had
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
was, I think my cousin rented it, and we're only 2 years apart, my older cousin. So it was just like, contraband inside the Holloway household or something at the time. What is this? You got it. And
I
so then
remember all my friends, they were like, man, can you bring your Sega over so we can play the real Mortal Kombat? Because one of my buddies, he had Super Nintendo. So like when you would hit somebody, it would be like gray sweat falling off of
Yeah.
them. It was like, what was this?
And then there's the blood code and everything.
Yeah.
But in one of those, man. But no, even like the Power Rangers video games, some of those are
Mhm.
kind of tight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Super Nintendo, the beat 'em ups, side scroller beat 'em ups.
And we're actually getting a new one very soon.
Yeah.
Which one?
It's-
Rita's Revenge.
Yeah.
Or is it Rita's Rewind? I think it's Rita's Rewind or something.
Yeah,
like
Rita's
that.
Rewind. You're thinking
Shredder's Revenge.
That
yeah.
game was hype. That
Oh,
game
yeah.
was-
Oh, yeah.
That game was that my son and I were double teaming that. That game was really good. As far as that. Well, no, we're gonna we got an hour and Sean and Austin, they came up with the idea of a death battle. Austin, you wanna I didn't tell
Are
Ernie.
we
You wanna
going with the final copy, the final edit, or are we going with the original? Because the original is actually pretty good.
No, the original is good, but the one
Edit?
the edit is wild.
All right, so Green Ranger, it's a 3-piece. We got Green
Uh-huh.
Ranger versus Green Goblin versus Kermit. Who's winning?
Now I have to ask this question.
Oh,
Which Green Ranger?
I
Yeah,
mean,
That's you.
Is it are we talking Tommy or are we talking Burai? Because it makes a difference in my answer.
all right. No, I'll go with Tommy. I gotta go because
Okay,
rest
so
in power, Tommy.
if it's Tommy, I'm giving it to Green Goblin.
Ooh.
Dang, no hope for Kermit.
Nah, Kermit is washed. He's look. Kermit can. I tell you what, Kermit is sitting in the swamp playing his little pick fiddle and is singing about loneliness and having friends. He don't want none of this smoke.
Yeah.
I say Green Goblin just because that man's a maniac and does not care about giant robots or dragon flutes and moves that you've only seen once, like that fireball that Tommy threw. I say if you'd have said Burai, I'd have said it'd been Burai because Burai would have murked him. Burai would have killed him.
I forgot he did that. He did that Hadouken like one time.
One time.
You're right about that. Like you said that. I'm like, wait, what does he mean? Then I just rushed back.
Because it was like it was when he did the rush down on him and he was just slapping them all left and right. And then once he knocked them all down, he literally just came back and went.
Yo, he did a Naruto
and threw it, and everybody was like, ugh! And like he was just like, and then he was like,
okay, I got to get this in there. I'll never forget this one scene. I was like, okay, Green Ranger's OD. Yo, you know how everyone is in the Megazord and they're all next to each other, and they're controlling the Zord together. Austin, Sean, my man invaded the Megazord.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, kick the door in. Kick the door in.
Yeah, I remember that. He somersaulted into it, right?
And
he was on the ground.
He opened the door.
We need a power sword now. Prepare to feel the wrath of Rita Repulsa. Who's that? My turn. Time to meet the Green Ranger. Long live Empress Rita.
And then Red Ranger's like, huh? and he punch this one. He's fighting him.
He punches the Yellow Ranger. That's who it is. He punches the Yellow Ranger, knocks that motherfucker sideways, and just starts like throwing everybody out.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing that makes that scene better is that in the Japanese version, he tells them to go to hell. That's what in the Japanese version, Burai's like, go to hell, and then starts throwing everybody out of the Zord. It was
the crazy thing is, imagine you chilling in their Megazord, and a dude hops,
just pulls up,
pulls open the door, and just minks, and you like,
oh.
Well, it was funny because when you see the Megazord, like after you see him like get in it, they zoom out and you see the Megazord just doing this.
Yeah, it's true. Like
sparks flying everywhere.
This is something completely off, but because you said that, we have to do like an episode of Pokemon just to talk about, because it made me think of, because the Green Ranger threw hands with all of the Rangers, like it just made me think Ash literally throws hands with Pokemon he don't care. Like he score up with Mewtwo and tried to box him like that. You know what I mean? Like
Mewtwo was like, sir.
To a pillar of salt.
Yo, he pulled up on Lucario, body tackled him, and rolled down a cliff. Like Ash don't care. Ash is the Green Ranger of Pokemon. He wanted, like, Ash, like, I'm not gonna lie, man, Ash, you go back and look at Pokemon and you think like, oh man, it's such a silly show, but it's like Ash was about that life, man. Ash was kind of gangster. He was kind of gangster. We need to do an episode of that. Like, next time we gotta come up with an episode of that.
Yeah, yo, I will never forget
Ranger. I like that.
I will never forget the
Ash is the Green Ranger of Pokemon.
When Ash, when Raichu, bodied stinking Pikachu, like season 1. I'll never forget that, because
I remember
that. That episode,
and Ash was awesome. Ash was fitting to give Pikachu that perk. He said, "Listen," he said, "He's gonna embarrass me again. You gonna take this, but you're not gonna take this."
Unbelievable.
Animal abuse. Animal abuse. That's all.
He was literally gonna give him what they call it? Yeah, give him the juice, give him the steroids.
Why was he Joe Jackson? Why was he being Joe Jackson to his Pokemon? Like, I feel like he was beating. You know what? I bet there's an edit out there somewhere. He was beating Pikachu's ass.
He was probably doing that to Charmander. That's why when he became Charizard, he was so mean. My boy Pikachu was laid up in the bed in a hospital, like, like, help!
He's like, why?
That was
I love it.
I'm gonna clip that whole thing. Please hit 1 million subscribers. All right, so we're gonna hit the pause for the cause button here. Please, as usual, like and subscribe. Enjoying the Morphin Grid. If you don't watch Power Rangers, give it a watch and everything as well.
Put down what your favorite Power Ranger series is in the comments.
Yo,
there it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to know
Western or the Japanese Super Sentai, whatever.
Yeah, Super Samurai, Cyber Squad, Beetle Borgs, VR Troopers, we'll take it all.
If you put down tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills, I will laugh at you.
Wait, what? Okay.
Hold it. Whoa. Hold it. The TV continued. There goes Sean.
Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
We'll continue this in part 2.
Like the Karate Cows that was on the Fairy Odd Parents one episode.
Oh yeah.
Karate Cows. What was it?
Yo.
Super adolescent Karate Cows. Can't make it.
Or Mandark's duck in Super Monkey, whoever his name is from Dexter's Laboratory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta have a Cartoon Network episode. All right, we gotta stop the episode right here.
All right, y'all.
Catch you guys down.
Yeah.
Peace.
Hey, y'all be good, man.
Peace.